In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
It got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
In these uncertain economic times, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of our biggest expenses can be our cars, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. If you own a vehicle with less than 130,000 miles, is less than 12 years old, has a warranty about to expire, or even no warranty at all, you could stop paying for car repairs. Roadside assistance, towing, and rental coverage are all included. Don't wait for the next repair. Make one free call right now to see if you qualify. If your vehicle is less than 12 years old, has less than 130,000 miles, even if it's out of warranty, paying for car repairs can become a thing of the past. Call us right now and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Get protection and no more repair bills. Call 800-696-1030. Again, 800-696-1030. That's 800-696-1030. 800-696-1030.
Joe had huge problems with the IRS.
I knew it was coming. I hadn't filed taxes since 1990.
All the IRS letters coming in added up to a nightmare.
It got up to like $68,000. My heart started beating fast. It's like, there's no way, man. I mean, I ain't going to be able to do this.
Then they stopped his paycheck.
So that's when I started making phone calls and found U.S. Tax Shield.
U.S. Tax Shield went to work immediately.
They just took the bull by the horns. What blew my mind is he called the IRS right then and there.
So why is U.S. Tax Shield A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau? Joe knows.
They saved me a ridiculous amount of money.
If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, choose the company Joe chose, U.S. Tax Shield.
It was the best decision I made. U.S. Tax Shield is the way to go. Life is good. Thank you, Lord.
Call 800-471-3287.
U.S. Tax Shield. Boo-rah. Yes.
800-471-3287. 800-471-3287.
The Internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Whoa! Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get set again.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention please? America Off the Rails has been declared a conservatives-only safe zone. Only conservatives allowed from this point forward. Any liberal, socialist, butthurt, hippie, tree huggers, please exit the facility immediately. Again, attention please. America Off the Rails is now designated as a conservative safe zone only. All butthurt, tree hugging, hippie, free to be you and me types exit the facility immediately.
we will keep this promise to the American people. If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor, period. If you like your health care plan, you will be able to keep your health care plan, period. This is the most transparent administration in history. Not even a smidgen of corruption.
Fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. What difference at this point does it make?
If you got a business, you didn't build that.
Oh, welcome to the face. Welcome to the face of the new democracy. Don't expect us to admit a mistake. We're paying off election debts to those on the take. Attorney General's lying even while
It's time to hear the truth about America's biggest challenges. You're listening to America Off the Rails with your host, Rick Robinson.
All right, folks, well, happy Thursday evening. This is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson, and do we have a lot to talk about today? All right, so due to some technical issues, we're probably going to do a little bit of a rehash of some of the stuff we talked about last night. Speaking of technical issues, for those of you listening on Spreaker, I do apologize. You got to hear the commercials twice. We were having some issues getting things situated over to the TuneIn server as well as the website. So for those of you listening on Spreaker, I do apologize. Those of you on the website and listening through TuneIn may have gotten maybe some commercials and a half there. But at this point, we do have all systems go and the gremlins have been beat back. So how is everybody this evening? I have to say, I'm a little disappointed. Again, we have a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to go over some things. For those of you who were listening live last night, this show went from what started out as a pretty well-prepared show to Trainwreck Radio, because by the end I'd forgotten basically even how to say my own name. So there were a few things we didn't touch on and I didn't expound upon last night that we're going to go into again tonight. But I have to say, I'm going to start the show by, pardon me, asking you all a question. Feel free to respond. There are a plethora of ways you can do so. You can follow me on Twitter at AoTR_host. Which is short for Off the Rails Host, of course. You can email me. Multiple email addresses available. You can choose Ricky at thesparkradionetwork.com or Rick at K98talk.org. Or you can hang out in the chat room. I'm not usually able to get in there during a live broadcast. I do my show in a secluded area in the middle of nowhere, so my bandwidth is not always what it used to be. However, we are going to be working on that this spring, so bear with me, be patient, and eventually we'll get it all worked out. But my question for the day is, are we watching? I was trying to say watching, and I almost went into witnessing. I'm not sure which one I actually wanted to use. So let me start over. Are we witnessing the death of the Republican Party? It's a serious question, so I'm gonna pause for a second and ask it again. Are we witnessing the death of the Republican Party? Because there's something that got tweeted out right before I went on the air this evening that I swear would have made my jaw hit the floor if my desk wouldn't have been in the way. I actually saw Carly Fiorina talking about the birther movement when it comes to Ted Cruz. And we're going to talk about that later tonight because I have a few things I want to say about that. And we'll get into what the I don't even know what to call the dude anymore. Anyway, Trump. You know, the nicknames are done. It was cute. It was fun. It's not funny anymore. The simple fact of the matter is the dude should never be president. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you believe. If you honestly think that Trump is the best conservative we can put forward, then we already have witnessed the death of the Republican Party. Because we used to be the party that wanted to stand apart from the Democrats. Now we want to emulate them. We have gone from the party who stood on principles to yet another group of frothing-at-the-mouth idiots following someone because of their cult of personality. We are doing, as a group, the same things that we made fun of the Democrats for in both 2008 and 2012. But now that it's our turn, and it's our turn for the cool kid to be on the block, we are all for it, and I am using we in the collective sense. I know most of you that listen to this show are not Trump supporters. Those of you who are, we still love you, but please seek professional medical help, preferably that of the mental variety. All right, so I guess we might as well just go ahead and jump right in it. I've asked the question. You have the ability to respond however you choose, so feel free to do so. Oh, and once we get the bandwidth issues situated and the new studio put together this spring, the phone lines will return. I don't have the bandwidth to do everything that I'm doing and take callers, but we will be working on resolving that soon as well. So for those of you who have the number stored and locked, don't send it anywhere. It ain't going away. We just can't use it right now. So I want to talk to you about what it is that we're talking about, and then go over some of the things that have been in the news over the last few days that we probably should be talking about instead. But in order for us to do that, first we have to do this. Because remember how I mentioned that cult of personality? Anytime we start talking about the fact that we now have a group of what are supposed to be conservatives now willing to basically consume their own to get ahead, we have to, of course, give them their dues. So here we go.
It rubs the lotion on its skin. It does this whenever it's told. It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
A census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
That's right, folks. In the latest episode of Conservative Cannibalism, a.k.a. our very own cult of personality, one Mr. Donald Trump has suddenly decided this. Give this a listen. It's pretty awesome.
Well, here's what I think. What I think I'd do, I'd go and seek a declaratory judgment if I was Ted.
What does that mean?
It means you go to court.
Which court?
You go to federal court to ask for what's called a declaratory judgment. You go in seeking the decision of the court without a court case. You go right in. You go before a judge. You do it quickly. It can go quickly. Declaratory judgment. It's very good. I've used it on numerous occasions. I've been pretty good with it, actually. So when there's a doubt, because there's a doubt, what Ted doesn't want to happen is he doesn't want to be in there. I mean, I think I'm going to win. I'm leading in every poll by a lot. But I have a lot of friends in the Republican Party. I have a lot of friends all over the place, all right? If Ted should eke it out, and I hope that doesn't happen, and he's got this cloud over his head, I don't think it's going to be possible for him to do very well. I don't think it's actually possible for the Republicans to let it happen because they'll have this cloud. So what you do is you go in immediately, like tomorrow, this afternoon, you go to federal court, you ask for a declaratory judgment that you want the court to rule. And once the court rules, you have your decision.
But that could take a long time for the court to... Because I don't think the Supreme Court has never really ruled on what is a natural-born citizen.
There's this doubt. People have doubt. Again, this was not my suggestion. I didn't bring this up. A reporter asked me the question. But the Democrats have brought it up, and you had somebody, a congressman, say no matter what happens, we're going to be suing on this matter. That's a tough matter for Ted.
It rubs the lotion on its skin. It does this whenever it's told. It rubs the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
A census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
And that, folks, is the latest episode of Trumpkin Cult of Personality. Again, don't forget, folks, just because he was born to an American parent, because he was born on foreign soil, all of a sudden he's not eligible to be president. Anybody remember that John McCain technically wasn't born on American soil? Hello! See, here's the thing, and I mentioned this last night, but I'm going to go ahead and bring it up again. There was this declaration, I believe it was 1790-ish, where they talked about the fact that anyone born to an American was automatically a naturalized citizen. The problem is, at some point a few years later, I think it was around 1795, they reworked the language, and they actually just made it state that anyone born to an American was a citizen. So once the word naturalized was removed, you had all of these armchair attorneys sitting back going, well, does that mean that somebody that's born in another country is technically not eligible to be president because it specifically says that the president must be a naturalized citizen? And see, this is where I think we're splitting hairs. Now, I know what the Democrats want us to do. They want us to do the same thing that we were throwing a fit about with Mr. Obama in both 2008 and 2012, because everybody wants to say that he was born in Kenya or born wherever. Look, the point is the dude's president. It's a little late to worry about that now. Could we possibly do some sort of an overriding decision where, because his presidency could be ruled null and void, if we could prove that he wasn't born anywhere in the country, that maybe that would be an issue? But is it that not still the same thing that we're talking about with Cruz, since his mom was an American? So I don't honestly know what the answer is here, folks. I just know that at this point, none of this argument has made sense to me. Even when it was about Obama, there were so many other things that we could be focusing on that this nozzle has done, and done poorly, ineptly, I dare say. And yet we have folks that were complaining about his birth certificate being faked because he might not have been born in Hawaii. If his mom was an American, does it really matter where he was born? So you can see where, maybe in one sense, maybe Trump and some of the others are the only ones being consistent. However, Trump never really seemed to question whether or not the birther movement was legitimate when it came to Obama. And let's not forget who actually started the birther movement when it came to Obama. Yeah, much like what's going on right now, the guy that's donated money to the Clinton campaign has taken a page from their playbook. Let that sink in for a moment, you Trumpkins. I know there's at least a handful of you that listen, so just let that sink in. Okay, so these are the things that we probably should be talking about instead of the things that we are talking about. So, let's take a listen. These are some of the things that have been happening since last week. One of them is worldwide, but actually a couple of them are worldwide. Both still very important because they kind of do impact us as well. So bear with me for just a moment. This is a story out of Germany for New Year's Eve. And this is to all of you out there that are saying that it's such a great idea that we take in these refugees, the Muslim ones.
Hundreds of people gathered in Cologne Tuesday night to protest against the attacks.
The perpetrators must be caught and brought to justice. Measures must be taken, and we should show solidarity among each other. Men, women, foreigners, against violence.
Police say more than 1,000 men, many of them reportedly of Northern African and Middle Eastern descent, had gathered in front of the cathedral on New Year's Eve. They threw firecrackers into the crowds before splitting into groups and surrounding lone women, sexually assaulting and robbing them. Around 90 women have come forward to police. The attacks have poured fuel on the already heated debate in Germany over immigration. Alexander Margier of the political magazine Cicero said via Skype from Berlin that many Germans are blaming the government's immigration policy.
You have to see the fact also that this has not happened before. Such a big crowd in like the main station of Cologne and also in other German cities. We haven't seen this before, so there might be a link to this migration policy.
More than 1 million migrants arrived in Germany in 2015. The government says it's crucial to first identify the attackers.
General suspicions against refugees that are based on leads saying that the perpetrators look like people from North Africa are just out of place. But also we should not skip the debate about whether they are refugees or not.
On the streets of Cologne, there is confusion and fear.
The problem is, where do 1,000 people suddenly come from? They say that there were 1,000 North Africans and that they were not refugees, but where did they come from?
In Hamburg, dozens of women were attacked in the city's red light district, also on New Year's Eve. Police are trying to determine whether the attacks were coordinated. Lawmakers have called for any asylum seekers found among the attackers to be deported. Henry Ridgewell for VOA News, London.
All right, so there's story number one that we probably should be focusing on, whether instead of whether or not Ted Cruz can be president, based on whether or not he is technically a naturalized citizen, depending on which definition you want to use, is the fact that we now have the same type of folks that they're wanting us to bring over here in droves are basically terrorizing Europe as we speak. Assaults have gone up exponentially. Countries like Sweden, the one that the Democrats tout as this socialist utopia, they have their own citizenry. Homelessness rate is rising. They're starting to run short of food and supplies because the government keeps doing everything they can to support the droves of supposed refugees that are coming into their countries. Now, here's the thing that nobody's talking about, and there are more and more stories about this coming out, and nobody's talking about it because we're too busy focusing on whether or not Ted Cruz can legitimately be president because of where he was born. There are more and more reports of male military-age people flooding across our border. Over and over and over again, these stories come out, and yet no one's talking about them. Why is that? Why is it that our personal security has become tantamount to treason if you say, why can't we secure our borders? You are all of a sudden un-American because you want to keep the people within our borders safe. And I've said it before, and I will say it again. And tell every single one of you open border types, stop locking your windows and doors at night and let anybody come in and take anything they want from your personal possessions, your personal pantry, your refrigerator, your car, whatever the case may be. You need to shut the hell up. All we are trying to do is keep ourselves safe. And at this point, that is being attacked on so many different levels, in so many different ways that it is insane how bad it has gotten. And no one, and I mean no one, is talking about it. And why is that? Because we're focusing on the feel-good movements. We even in the conservative movement have become so obsessed with the feels. We don't focus on the facts anymore. We don't focus on the truth. We focus on what makes the party feel good. And it is disheartening. And it is maddening to see even people like Carly Fiorina jumping on the birther bandwagon because she's hoping it's going to get her a couple of points in the polls. I'm so tired of these sellouts. I'm so tired of all of these people that only want to tell us what they think we need to hear just to get them in the door, and then they do whatever the hell they want to do anyway. And case in point is Paul Ryan, and we'll get to him after the break, because I have a bit that I want to play that I found, and then we're going to rip it to shreds. Because it's what I do. Because I'm tired of these posers and these wannabes that want to tell everybody that they're these great conservatives who are out here to make a difference, and the only thing they give a damn about them is themselves and their own power. And I'm so tired of it. And I have made a decision. 2016 is going to be the year that I call every single one of them to task. I have spent my time trying to be the guy, that says, well, I want to be able to interview these folks, and I want them to come talk on my show, and I want to be able to ask them hard questions. You know what? I don't give a damn anymore if you want to come on my show. I'm going to tell the people that listen to my show the truth. And if you don't like it, then you can come on my show and we can talk about it. But until you do, I'm going to find the proof of what you say, and then I'm going to rip you to shreds, because you are all a bunch of liars. From Donald Trump all the way down to frickin' Paul Ryan, you all lie through your teeth. You tell the American people what you think they need to hear just to get what you want out of it, and then you kick us to the curb. And again, we're going to talk about that more after the break. But before we go to break, there's one other breaking story that we really need to talk about, because it, again, is something that we should be talking about more than whether or not Ted Cruz could be president based on where he was born.
Reports Wednesday morning that a 5.1 magnitude earthquake occurred near Punggye-ri, where North Korea conducted its last 3 nuclear tests, were the first indication that the seismic activity there was man-made. North Korea's state television soon broadcast a special announcement claiming it successfully detonated a hydrogen bomb that is much more powerful and destructive than an atomic bomb. After North Korea's 3rd nuclear test in 2013, the United Nations Security Council passed resolutions banning Pyongyang from conducting further nuclear and offensive weapons tests and imposed harsh economic sanctions against the Kim Jong-un regime. South Korean President Park Geun-hye and Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe promised to punish North Korea for its nuclear provocation, while China said only that it firmly opposes Pyongyang's action. The United States also denounced the attack, but has so far responded cautiously. It has yet to verify Pyongyang's claim that it has indeed detonated a hydrogen bomb. The United Nations Security Council will hold an emergency meeting Wednesday to discuss the North Korean nuclear test. It is expected that Washington and its allies will press for harsher sanctions. Brian Patton, VOA News, Seoul.
Yet another story that we should be talking about, but never fear, because you have the folks at K98 Talk here to bring you the in-depth news. So, without further ado, at risk to life, limb, and personal safety, our very own Denny C. has smuggled out of North Korea a statement from fearless leader Kim Jong-un, and we're going to go ahead and play that for you right now.
Why aren't more people intelligent, like me? I'm so lonely, so lonely, so lonely inside real Rome. There's no one, just me only, sitting on my little throne. I work very hard and make up great friends, but nobody listens, no one understands. Seems like no one takes me seriously, and so I'm lonely, a little lonely. Pour it on me.
That's right, folks. You heard it here first on K98 Talk. The reason there has been a recent nuclear explosion in North Korea, from the mouth of the leader of North Korea himself. He's a sad, loathing little man who only wants attention. Now, when we come back from the break, we have even more to talk about, and we're going to spend the rest of the show probably tearing Paul Ryan to shreds, because, hey, it's just how we roll around here, right here on America Off the Rails. Now, at this point, we are going to take a little bit of a break, pay a few bills. We'll be right back here in just a couple minutes. Do not, I repeat, do not go away. Alright, folks, this is Rick Robinson with you. I want to tell you about some friends of mine from a company called Security Enforcement Specialists. When I ran my security agency for 12 years, I worked with one of these partners on a daily basis. He's been involved in this agency now, and with his other partner, they do have over 30 years of experience in the private security industry. If you own a business and you need someone to keep you or your customers or residents safe, then I highly recommend contacting Security Enforcement Specialists today. Give them a call at 405-703-1796. Again, that's 405-703-1796. Again, tell them Rick from K98 Talk sent you. Like I said, if you need the help, they are here for you. So make sure that you go look them up, check them out, and see what they can do.
The wrong way. Welcome to the place.
The internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get started again.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of our military service members or their families, asking them to put themselves in harm's way, to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to keep them secure for the rest of their lives. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease. Join us at findwwp.org.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method, and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry, or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
The staff of K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network is proud to announce that our very own Rowdy Rick Robinson has been selected as one of the top conservative talk show hosts in the nation for his program America Off the Rails. Again, congratulations to Rowdy Rick Robinson for a job well done and another reason to stay connected to K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network.
All right, folks, we are back. We are live. This is Rick Robinson. I'm the host of America Off the Rails, and of course, it is Thursday, January 7th, 2016. Is this the first Thursday or the second Thursday of the year? Heck, who knows? I can't keep up anymore. Sorry, folks, when you wear about 6 different hats a day, sometimes it's hard to keep up. Speaking of 6 different hats, I'm going to take just a second as the programming director and take my hat off as a host for a second and give a shout out to what has got to be some of the hardest working folks in radio. Thursday night has become an all-around bang-up night here on K98 Talk. We start out the night with the one, the only Lou Bell, the host of For Whom the Bell Tolls, who brings you the hot and the hot news and the happenings with national security. And then, of course, we go up next with JD and Stacy, hosts of both Game On and Bloody Marys and Broadsheets, on here with us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And you can also catch them Fridays on WNJC in Drive Time Prime Time. So make sure you're checking them out tomorrow if you've missed them any other time. Then next up, we have a new edition of Thursday nights, Mr. Daniel Stafford, one of the smartest guys in talk radio, who's now on K98 Talk Monday and Thursday nights. Same time, both nights, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. Then, of course, you have yours truly, Bat and Cleanup, otherwise known as the Schlub. I'm the guy that just says, I'm going to come on, I'm going to talk for a while. But, this is K98 Talk. It is an endeavor of love. We do everything we can to bring you great shows, every opportunity we can, with some of the best people in new media, in my opinion. And I don't just say that because I went out and found most of them, or they came and found me. So just in case you're not checking everybody out, please make sure that you do. Not only do we have great shows on Thursdays, we've got great shows on Mondays, and, I guess Tuesdays are a little empty right now. But we're working on filling that back in. Wednesday, we've got the Conservative Curmudgeon. Thursday, of course, we just went over the lineup. And Friday, we have the WNJC night, basically. We've got the Veto and the Veto Show. Then we've got Gene with Behind Enemy Lines. And then, of course, yours truly, again, Bat and Cleanup. So there is always something on here on K98 Talk. And we have also started doing more live catches. So if you're with us in the morning, tune in about 9 Eastern, 8 Central, and you can catch the Rod Eccles Show in its new 3-hour format, 5 mornings a week. Always trying to do what we can to bring you the best in conservative talk radio around here, folks. Okay, so time to take the PD director hat off and put back on the show host hat, because we're down to about 25 minutes. I want to make sure we get to the big story of the night, which is the again, going along with the theme of what we should probably be talking about, rather than other than, I guess I could learn to speak. I get paid to talk and can't do it. But anyway, other than whether or not Ted Cruz can be president based on where he was born. I have a snippet of a pretty long conversation. I'm going to give credit where credit was due. This is from Sean Hannity's show on Fox. I did edit most of Hannity's voice out, not because I don't like the guy, but because, it just seemed kind of weird to have another host of a different network talking on my show. So, anyway, this is a bit of an excerpt of a conversation they've had, and I'm going to let you hear it, and then we're going to talk.
Yeah, so we've been at this, for 5 years now? We finally found what I think is the smart strategy to be able to get a bill on his desk. We've never been able to get around a filibuster in the Senate to get a bill to repeal Obamacare. But, by the way, this also defunds Planned Parenthood, which is a very high priority of ours. We could never get through the Senate filibuster, so we use the one rule, the one tool we have a year. We call this reconciliation, so we can get around the Senate filibuster to get a bill on his desk defunding Obamacare and Planned Parenthood. We're passing that tomorrow. I fully anticipate the president will veto this. But, how many times have we been saying we want to put bills on his desk that say who we are, what we believe versus what he believes, and that he will veto? Then we'll have a veto override vote on that later in the month. But this is the first time we've been able to get on his desk a bill going after Obamacare and Planned Parenthood.
Let me give you a chance, because you're new in this position, and I actually know that you were fairly reluctant. I don't think this is a job that you really wanted, but you did take it. And I don't blame you for not wanting it. It's not exactly the most loved position. It's going to be...
Hey, tell me about it. I've been a frustrated conservative as well. So, number one, I'm hitting the reset button. We're going to do things differently around here in the House. Number two, I'm decentralizing power, so every conservative, every member of Congress has a greater ability to participate in the process so that we can really have this place work the way the founders intended it to work. But number three, we have to use every tool at our disposal to keep this executive branch honest, to keep oversight over them. So let's take the executive amnesty. We went the court route, and we've been successful. We're going after the president in court on Obamacare issues as well. We're succeeding in court there. We've used the power of the purse with riders on a whole host of things, pro-life riders, Internal Revenue Service riders, EPA riders, and at the end of the day, Sean, what really matters, though, is winning an election. We have to have a conservative in the White House. We have to have a conservative in the White House that isn't trashing the Constitution, that isn't going with the phone and the pen routine. And that is why, and the reason I took this job, and my colleagues know this, is we have to go on offense in 2016, and we have to offer a bold agenda to the country so that the people of this country who do not like the direction America is heading, which we don't, that we owe them an alternative. We have to give them a bold conservative agenda so that the men and women in this country...
Okay, so he says a lot of things that I've been waiting for somebody to say. The problem is I don't believe a word that just came out of his mouth. Because here's my problem. The same time a few years ago, one Paul Ryan was throwing a fit because Democratic congressmen and senators were using reconciliation to ram Obamacare down our throats. So the first chance that he gets to actually do something, to accomplish anything, and show the American people that the folks that we sent to D.C. are going to do what the hell we sent them there for in the first place, he uses the same trick he was just denouncing a few years ago. Here's my problem, and I've said this before and I will say it again. You had one job, Eddie Munster, one job. You and Orangey Orange, you had one job and you flubbed it up. You've had a majority in both houses for 2 years. 2 years. You could have already been putting the bills on the desk. You didn't do it. You waited till you could find a way to do it in a sneaky, underhanded way, and at the same time, you didn't use the power of the purse that you were just touting in this damn clip. You gave him everything he wanted until well after he's out of office, and now there's not a damn thing anybody can do about it except for put votes forward to try to defund the little bits and pieces of it. And you're talking about, oh, well, we put this language in here so we can defund Planned Parenthood, and we did this, and we're finally going to get it to his desk. And then he's going to veto it. And then you're going to have to find 6 Democrats to go along with it, or everybody's still going to get their funding anyway because you already put it in the other stuff. Do you think we are idiots? Wait, don't answer that question because I already know the answer to that question. Yes, every single one of you in D.C. think we are idiots. Now, another thing that we should be talking about, and then I'll get back to Eddie Munster over here. You know, when we're talking about the fact that folks go to D.C. and they never come back out the same, as an Oklahoman, I have to say, for the first time ever, I have to say I'm glad that Tom Coburn got out when he did. Because he just came out the other day in support of Hillary Clinton. This is another reason why the title of the show tonight is Conservatives, Where Art Thou? Because I don't know anyone who is truly a conservative anymore. Not when it comes right down to it. Every single one of them that are in a position of authority have done something to set out their principles just to get where they wanted to go. And that is a problem for me, and it should be a problem for you. Now, back to Eddie Munster. You had one job. You put the bills on the desk. You tell him you're going to defund Obamacare, then you pass it, then you put it on his desk. You tell him you're going to change the way the education system works. You pass the bills, you put them on his desk. You fix the funding problems. You pass the bills, you put them on his desk. You fix the issues with the VA. You pass the bills, you put them on his desk. You could have shown the American people a clear-cut difference between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, and you didn't do it. It would have been really simple. We gave you the majority for one reason, because we wanted you to prove to us that you were different than the nozzles that are in there now, and you and every single one of you, and yes, I mean this to all of you that are in there now, have failed us, the American people. And I say this because you have allowed this poser, this community organizer, this glorified janitor to come in after telling the world and telling the American people that he could not act as a king and do just that. All you have done at every step and every turn is embolden this man to do whatever the hell he feels like he needs to do to get whatever he thinks needs to have happen. And he's done it. Every single bit of it, he's done it, and you guys have not stopped him at all. And you have the gall, the balls, to stand right there on national TV and now on this show and tell the American people that you're fighting. You're not fighting a damn thing. You couldn't fight your way out of a wet paper bag if your life depended on it, and all of you in Congress are feckless idiots. And I'm so tired of trying to defend you. I'm done. Because you were the guy that tried to get in the Veep spot a few years ago, and you've just proven to me beyond a shadow of a doubt that you never deserved to be there. You did not. And you do not deserve to be where you are now. Because again, you could have done one very simple thing. You could have gotten the bills passed from the House. That's your responsibility. What happens in the Senate, that's not your problem. It's not. You have one responsibility. That is to monitor, maintain, and keep things flowing in your side of the legislature. You didn't do it. You have failed. You deserve to be removed. You, sir, are now third in line to the presidency, and as far as I'm concerned, you shouldn't be stocking a 7-Eleven. Am I being harsh? Maybe I am, but you know what? I'm fed up. We keep giving these idiots the power because they keep telling us, if you give us this one more shot, we're going to do it right, and they don't. And then they come on national TV and they try to tout this one little thing like it's a victory lap, and it ain't crap, because it's not going anywhere. But the simple fact of the matter is, if you would have done what those of us that voted for you, that were pulling for you, that were saying, look, if you just do these few things, just show the American people what we as a party still believe, what we can stand for, and you be there and you go to bat for us, and we will go to bat for you. You didn't do it. You suck at your job. You need to pack up, go home, go back to scrubbing toilets or whatever it was before you got into politics, because you, sir, as a human being, are a failure. I've had it. I'm not being nice anymore. I'm not pulling punches anymore. I am angry. Our entire country, dare I say the entire world, is going to hell, and our Congress has done nothing. And they've done nothing because all they care about is, how much more power can I get? How much more of the wool can I pull over the American people's eyes and just get just that much more power? You know what I'm tired of? I'm tired of career politicians. You know what I want? I want a Speaker of the House to get elected and come in and start talking term limits. But you know what? It's never going to happen. I want the Vice President, who is technically the leader of the Senate, to start talking term limits. But you know what? It's never going to happen. You know why it's never going to happen? Because absolute power corrupts absolutely. And these people are the embodiment of absolute power. You know, I'm not a fan of raising minimum wage. I never have been. I think there needs to be a carrot approach rather than a stick approach. There are ways to make sure that businesses pay their people fairly and give them decent wages, enough to let them survive instead of struggle, without making it a punishment. There are ways to make it happen. But while these same folks can neither raise the minimum wage or pass rules to make it more economical for the companies that employ all of these people to raise their wages for their employees, they can't do that, but they can give themselves pay raises every year. You know, I'm tired of it. We can't just be the party that just sits back and says, no, well, we can't raise minimum wage because it's bad. Which it is. I've lived through multiple minimum wage hikes. It never works out well. The prices for everything else go up, and by the time it's all said and done, you're right back where you were. And all the people that were making above minimum wage before, which is whatever that new dollar amount's going to be, are not going to be mad because now they're making minimum wage because they're not going to get raises. They never do. They're just now newly minimum wage workers. And the people that got the raises, they try hard for a couple of months till they realize their money's not going any further, and then they go back to calling in sick. Because, hey, I can schlub off 2 days a week. They won't fire me. And it's not like missing a couple of days is going to hurt. I already can't pay my bills anyway. Then you had the people that were happy because they were making more than minimum wage. So they were getting up every day and they were trying harder and they were going to work. And they were like, oh, well, maybe I'll only miss 1 day a month because, you know, I need the money. But, you know, every once in a while you just got to have one of those mental health days, you know. Everybody that's ever worked anything understands mental health days, unless you're managers. Just saying. Then, of course, you can't understand mental health days because it's how you're wired. I get that because I've been management and staff, so I understand. But this is what I'm saying. All you wind up doing is hurting everybody. But the simple fact of the matter is, there are ways to fix the problems that we have right now in this country, but we're not doing them. And why are we not doing them? Let's take a really quick look at that because we're getting to the bottom of the show. But why are we not doing them? Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is something else that was solidified by me to me tonight by the fact that now Carly Fiorina is parroting Donald Trump. The simple fact of the matter is, these folks don't want things fixed. I don't care which side of the aisle they're on. They don't want things fixed because if they actually worked to fix what was broken, they would be making themselves irrelevant and obsolete. They can't have that. See, this is where we ran into a problem. Does anybody remember that, when the Constitution was written, Congress was really only supposed to be in session for, 4, 5, 6 weeks, I think? They got a per diem while they were there, no other pay. The rest of the time they were supposed to be dealing with their constituents. We need to take this back to an unpaid position. Or if nothing else, one of the quickest ways to fix Congress, put them all on Obamacare. Guarantee it gets fixed then, because their gold health care tickets are gone. Every last one of them has to sign up for Obamacare, or they face the same penalties as everybody else. I guarantee you, when you start getting into percentages, they'll start talking, because their percentages are a lot worse than yours. The other way to fix it, pay a minimum wage. Make them understand what it feels like. I guarantee you, one way or another, they'll fix the problem. But let me tell you how they could fix the problem, but they won't. Because they don't care. Because, again, if they fix what's broken, you don't need them. Instead of mandating that every single business pay every single person that walks through their door a minimum set amount of money, and they don't have any options or choices, what you do is you set a minimum wage at a certain dollar amount. Make it a reasonable dollar amount, kind of close to what it is now. And then what you do is you offer the businesses tax breaks for every number of employees they pay above that rate. And the further above that rate they get, with the more employees that they have paying that, the less of a tax rate they have. Why is that so hard? If you really want to pay the American people what you think they're worth, then fix it. But the problem is the fact that you're not willing to fix it, and you're only willing to use minimum wage as a political football, proves to me that you don't give a damn about the American people. Most of you in D.C. think the average American is an idiot. Most of you in D.C. think the average American is an obstacle. Most of you in D.C. think the average American is a problem. And you completely and continually show us this with your disdain, your lack of any compassion, you don't have any desire to do or fix anything. But then you want to go on national TV and tell everybody how hard you're fighting for the little guy, and how you finally managed to put a bill on Obama's desk that's going to defund Obamacare. Which is all a bunch of malarkey, because everybody knows he's going to veto it, and you do not have the majority to get it passed through a veto override. So again, thanks for playing Paul Ryan, but you fail at life. You suck as a congressman. You royally suck as the Speaker of the House, and you need to go back to whence you came and probably find a job as a janitor. Just saying. All right, so just to recap, in case anybody's tuning in on the last few minutes of the show, first of all, we're almost done, so where were you an hour ago? Second of all, feel free to tune in and check us out as the podcast. It'll be back up here in just a couple minutes, and you can listen to the show in its entirety. But so far, what we've been talking about tonight is the fact that we now have a conservative circus when it comes to the political party system and the current presidential election cycle, which, a lot of us have been saying that all along. But now we have this entire group of folks that are supposed to be the political frontrunners for president of the United States, all hopping on the can Ted Cruz be president because he wasn't actually born in America bandwagon. Never mind the fact that his mom is actually an American citizen, and it doesn't matter if he was born outside of the country. Otherwise, John McCain never would have been able to get the nomination in 2008. But, sorry, I know. It hurts to get in the way with pesky little things called facts. I understand that. It's a painful process. We've also again touched on North Korea, and in case you missed it last night, played the breaking news smuggled out of North Korea by our very own Denny C. that basically gave us the explanation as to why Mr. Kim Jong-un has been suddenly and so vigorously testing nuclear weapons. We have also taken apart one Paul Eddie Munster Ryan, or as I like to call him, President Obama's newly elected beard, because now Obama can feel important because he's actually got somebody in the in Congress that will listen to him and do whatever he's told. All right, so if you missed it, make sure you check it out later. At this point, folks, that is going to do it for this particular episode of America Off the Rails. I am the one, the only Mr. Rick Robinson. I will be back with you live tomorrow night to round up the week on this, the first full week back since the new year, which for me wasn't necessarily a full week because we just went back to live last night, but we'll have a full week of programming this coming week. Also, we will not have Finding Common Ground or Opinion Nation this Saturday because my co-host and the host of Opinion Nation can't get the day off from his day job. So we will have probably replays up in our stead, but I'll be back with you live on Monday. And don't forget, this coming Tuesday, Opinion Nation, that can also be heard every Saturday morning, is now moving to prime time on Tuesday evenings. So on Tuesdays, our newest lineup is going to be 8 o'clock, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, Game On with JD and Stacy, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 Central, Opinion Nation with Mr. Bryce Robbins, and then, of course, you have me right after with America Off the Rails. So now we have gotten to the point where we're back to at least giving you usually 3 hours of live or new content every weeknight and several different shows in the weekday. So make sure you stay tuned, lock it in, tear off the knob, and stay with K98 Talk and the Spark Radio Network as we continue to grow in 2016 and bring you what we hope to be an even better year than 2015. On that note, folks, I am out of here. Again, I'll be back with you live tomorrow night. This is Mr. Rick Robinson. Until I talk to you again, keep your powder dry and don't believe anybody if they're telling you what you want to hear, because it's probably a lie. Have a good night, folks.
Everything you earn by breaking your backs, we're gonna redistribute when we make our pay tax. Hey, sit down.
Screw you guys. I'm going home. Later.
Game over, man. It's game over.
All right, guys, we're ready for our Four Seasons sunroom, and Daddy's gonna get a rec room with refreshments.
Oh no, we'll be sleeping under the stars.
Mom, what about the one with, the fun?
Nice try, little bro. It's a gym. My gym.
Hey, Grandma's getting her Four Seasons garden room. Weather tight and still like being outdoors.
Maybe a living room. Oh no, wait. A family hub.
Yeah! No matter what the budget, the season, or the climate, Four Seasons sunrooms let you and your family enjoy the outdoors inside. Call now to receive your free, no-obligation brochure from the premier manufacturer of sunrooms since 1975.
More reasons for Four Seasons now.
To find out more, call toll-free 800-928-7007. That's 800-928-7007. Call 800-928-7007 today.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, easy and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 29security.com. That's the number 29security.com. 29security.com. Go to 29security.com. Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.